Bitcoin is perfect money. It's incorruptible, decentralized, and unconfiscatable. Let's get it. In today's show, the Bitcoin bulls grill $31,000 as Fidelity ETF fuels the Bitcoin price strength. That's right, breaking news just in. $4.5 trillion asset management giant Fidelity is preparing to file for a spot Bitcoin ETF. Let's go. Also, check it. Grayscale has a 70% chance of beating the SEC in court to get their Bitcoin ETF approved, according to Bloomberg. Also, the first leveraged Bitcoin ETF in the United States sees $4.2 million in trading volume since it went live with $500,000 within the first 15 minutes. Also in today's show, Cathie Wood's ARK is reportedly the first in line for the spot Bitcoin ETF. We'll also be discussing firms managing $27 trillion in assets are embracing crypto as the institutional FOMO continues. Quoting Max Kaiser, $220,000 Bitcoin could happen in July. Send it. Let's freaking go. We'll also be discussing Riot Platforms to add 33,000 Bitcoin miners ahead of the 2024 halving, which is right around the corner, as well as breaking news in Indonesia labeling 501 cryptocurrencies as commodities, paving the way for regional adoption. Also in today's show, billionaire Peter Thiel's prediction that the Bitcoin price will increase 100x to over $4 million per coin. We'll also be taking a look at the overall crypto market. All this, plus so much more, in today's show. And today's episode is brought to you by the Crypto Code. If you want to learn how to make up to $800 per day in totally automated crypto profits with a secret software tool that works fast and profits consistently, whether the market is up or down, be sure to click the link in the description right down below and check out this presentation. And let's get this crypto, shall we? And if you're new to the channel, make sure to smash that subscribe button and ring that bell to turn on notifications to receive daily Bitcoin and crypto news alerts. And let's get it, shall we? Welcome everyone just tuning in. This is pod episode number 1325. I'm your host JV, and today is June 27th, 2023. Let's kick off today's show with our market watch. You can see Bitcoin and the entire crypto market pumping back in the green. If you're pretty pumped up, put a 1 in the comment section right down below. You can see Bitcoin trading at roughly $30,700. Ether trading at roughly $1,900, up 2.5% for the day. And checking out coinmarketcap.com, the current crypto market cap is sitting at $1.19 trillion with $36 billion in volume in the past 24 hours, with the Bitcoin dominance back on the climb at 50.1%, with the Ether dominance at 19.2%. And checking out the top 100 crypto gainers in the past 24 hours, Compound leading the pack, up 13%, trading above 41 bucks, followed by Stellar Lumens, up 10%, trading just above 10 cents, followed by ARB, up 7%, trading at $1.22. And checking out the top 100 crypto gainers for the past week, we got a sea of green, which I love to see. Quite a few gainers, with the biggest losers being Bit and Near. And checking out the crypto greed and fear index, we're currently rated a 59 in greed, yesterday a 55, last week a 49, and last month a 50, which is neutral. So there you have it. Welcome everyone just joining us. Make sure to say hello in the live chat. Don't forget to smash that subscribe button. Now let's dive into today's Bitcoin technical analysis and check out the charts and what is popping with the King Crypto, shall we? As you can see here, Bitcoin challenged 31,000 again after the June 27th Wall Street Open as traders hope for upside continuation, which you can see here in the Bitcoin 1 hour candle chart. Data from Cointelegraph Markets Pro and TradingView showed Bitcoin price action edging higher after holding strong above 30,000 support. The start of the U.S. trading saw fresh positive news as asset manager Fidelity Investments reportedly prepared a filing to launch its own Bitcoin spot ETF, exchange traded fund. This is pretty big news, especially off the back of BlackRock and all the other major asset managers doing the same. Quoting analysts here, Bitcoin refuses to dip back below 30,000, said Jelle. Looks like this will be one of those times where consolidation below resistance is bullish. Flip 30 to 32,000 and all bets are off. And quoting Crypto Tony, he says consolidation was to be expected here, and he says if the price can go and test the 32 to 33 level and hold there, a chance we teleport to $38,000 plus over the coming weeks, as there's not much resistance between $32,000 and $40,000. Let me know if you agree or disagree with the analysts. Now, Coinbase stock rebound set the tone. Bitcoin thus branched out to leave the alts behind on the daily time frame, with the top 10 cryptos by market cap mostly flat. And another ETF-related success story concerned the stock of U.S. exchange Coinbase, which added 4% at the open to hit one-month highs. Quoting TED Talks Crypto here, following news that Coinbase will be the Bitcoin custodian of the world's largest asset manager, BlackRock. In the case of a spot ETF is approved, it's hard to imagine Coinbase testing anywhere near those lows in the near future. And he makes a great point. Also consider that the BlackRock track record for getting ETFs approved in general is 575 to 1. So let's go Fidelity. I think this is the second largest asset manager in the world. They say that BlackRock controls roughly somewhere between 10 and 20 trillion in assets under management. Fidelity is a big deal as well, with 4.5 trillion in assets under management. We discussed Grayscale converting their GBTC trust into a spot Bitcoin ETF, meaning the SEC must respond. And according to Bloomberg, there's a 70% chance of approval. And the first leveraged Bitcoin ETF that just went live in the United States is already crushing it with volume, and we're just getting started. And with all that being shared, now for the latest from Cathie Wood of ARK, she says her spot Bitcoin ETF is first in line. Let's break this down, shall we? And again, welcome to everyone just joining in. ARK Invest Management, a pro-Bitcoin firm founded by veteran investor Cathie Wood, shout out to Cathie, is reportedly ahead in the race for a spot Bitcoin ETF. In mid-June, the investment firm BlackRock filed the app for the spot Bitcoin ETF, triggering notable optimism in the crypto markets as we surged from 25,000 to 30,000 practically overnight based on that breaking news. Now, several reports suggest BlackRock could become the first issuer of the spot Bitcoin ETF in the US should it receive approval, but that might not be the case, according to some executives and analysts. Quoting ARK analyst Yassine here, other applicants will be able to amend their filings with similar agreements at little cost, and also stressed that ARK and the European asset manager 21 Shares filed an app with the US SEC for a spot Bitcoin ETF back in April. That now is the only one ahead of BlackRock, he added. So there you have it. More industry observers, including Bloomberg Intelligence ETF analyst James Safar, also argued that ARK and 21 Shares should be ahead of anyone for a spot Bitcoin ETF. Quoting him here, 21 Shares, ARK, and CBOE are first in line because their next SEC decision date is August 13th, 2023, and we don't yet have a date for the other 19B4 apps like the one from BlackRock, he stated. But I do note that the SEC must respond to the app request of BlackRock before the halving of 2024. Now, BlackRock's filing for the iShares Bitcoin Trust has triggered a wave of reactivated Bitcoin ETF filings, which we're witnessing firsthand. Companies like crypto fund manager Valkyrie, Wisdom Tree, and Invesco refiled for their spot Bitcoin ETFs, with Bitwise also reportedly trying again for a Bitcoin ETF. Let's go. And our bull case for a spot Bitcoin ETF approval can basically be summed up in 4 words. What does BlackRock know? Bloomberg senior ETF analyst Eric Balchunas wrote on Twitter. ETFs Institute co-founder Nate Garassi took to Twitter on June 26 to express similar sentiments. Quoting him here, I will say, seems hard to believe this is all coincidence. BlackRock files for a spot Bitcoin ETF. 4 other issuers quickly follow suit. EDX crypto exchange launches backed by Fidelity and Schwab, etc. Plus a 2x leveraged Bitcoin futures ETF is allowed by the SEC. And I think he poses a great question. What does BlackRock know that the rest of us don't? Now, there hasn't really been a lot of development since the first time many of these sponsors filed their initial spot Bitcoin ETFs. He said, we don't believe that a spot Bitcoin ETF will be available to the public anytime soon because there is still a certain amount of time for review. So it could be not until next year. Potentially the year after that, we can see a spot Bitcoin ETF. So there you have it. What are your thoughts? When do you feel a spot Bitcoin ETF is finally to get approved in the United States? I'm guessing it's going to happen sometime in 2024 before the halving, which is expected to be sometime probably between April to May, which is literally around the corner. But let me know your thoughts and which ETF do you feel is likely to get approved first. If I was a betting man, I'd go with BlackRock just because of the track record of 575 to 1, which means they are rarely told no by the SEC, if you know what I mean. With that being shared, fam, now for our next story of the day, let's actually break down our story with this $27 trillion in institutional FOMO, which could be coming to the King Crypto, and then we'll dive into the latest from 33,000 new Bitcoin miners, as well as crypto adoption in Indonesia blowing up, followed by our $4 million Bitcoin price prediction, which ultimately means the Bitcoin price can 100x from the current levels we at. And then we'll dive into our live Q&A. Let's go. Major U.S. financial institutions managing $27 trillion of assets are actively seeking to provide clients with exposure to Bitcoin and crypto. On June June 26, CoinShares Chief Strategy Officer Melton highlighted that at least 8 major financial institutions has signal moves in the digital asset space, which include BlackRock's spot Bitcoin ETF and Fidelity's crypto wealth management solution. Others include JP Morgan, Morgan Stanley, Goldman Sachs, and BNY Mellon, Invesco, and Bank of America. Many of the largest financial institutions in the U.S. are actively working to provide access to Bitcoin and more, she noted, adding there's a whopping $27 trillion in assets under management between them, as pointed out right here. Check this out. We got BlackRock, Fidelity, JP Morgan Chase, Morgan Stanley, Goldman Sachs, BNY Mellon, Invesco, Bank of America, with a total of assets exceeding $27 trillion. As we know, earlier in the month, BlackRock started this off on June 16th with their application for the ETF. Now, Max Keiser responded to this and he wrote, $220,000 Bitcoin can happen in July. Keep it in mind, July is literally next week. What are your thoughts and how would that change your life if Bitcoin hypothetically hit Max Keiser's target of 220,000 unexpectedly next month here in 2023? Before the halving? I think that means we'd have a crazy blow off top in 2024 and 2025. But what are your thoughts? Let me know in the comments right down below. So yeah, between HSBC, BlackRock, Fidelity, and Schwab, we're talking about $25 trillion in assets under management that will soon be enabled to buy Bitcoin. Let's go. Institutional investors already showing more interest in Bitcoin-related funds. We got ProShares Bitcoin Strategy ETF saw its largest weekly inflow for the year, pushing its assets under management to over $1 billion. And earlier in the week, we had Fed Reserve Board of Governors member Michelle Bowman criticize the absence of a crypto regulatory framework, claiming that the uncertainty over the asset class traps institutions in a supervisory void. So there you have it. Let me know your thoughts. And now let's break down the latest with Bitcoin mining adoption going on right now from Riot Platforms, one of the world's largest Bitcoin mining companies. They just bought 33,280 next generation Bitcoin miners for its Texas facility, costing a whopping $163 million. Where my Bitcoin miners at? The rigs, which were sourced from mining manufacturer MicroBT, will boost the firm's self-mining capacity by 7.6 exahashes per second and comes in advance of the Bitcoin next halving cycle, which is set to take place sometime in mid-2024. Let's go Riot Platforms. Riot Platforms CEO on June 26 said the deal will increase the firm's self-mining capacity to 20.1 exahashes per second once the machines are installed in the first quarter of 2024. Very clever. That's right before the halving, quoting him here. These new miners will contribute to an additional 7.6 exahashes per second to Riot's self-mining capacity when fully developed and further or deployed, and enhance our already strong fleet efficiency in advance of the upcoming Bitcoin halving. Now, of the 33,280 machines, there's 8,000 M565S models with a hash rate of 220 exahashes per second, while the remaining 25,000 M56S Plus are slightly more powerful at 230 terahashes per second for you Bitcoin mining nerds out there. So you can see here them announcing on crypto Twitter, join our team and take you through Riot's production and operation updates for the month of May. Riot produced 676 Bitcoin and had deployed a hash rate of 10.5 exahashes per second. That's a serious amount of Bitcoin. So I think the accumulation will obviously continue. Meanwhile, on June 21st, Bitcoin miner Akron Energy announced that it bought 200 megawatt mining facility in Hannibal, Ohio for an undisclosed amount, and it's the Sydney-based firm's first expansion into the United States following a $26 million raise on June 20th. The firm plans to immediately complete the first design stage of the Hannibal facility, which it hopes will provide 100 megawatts of power. The hosting services will be provided to the firm's institutional scale clients in the Bitcoin industry. Let's frickin' go. Obviously, the higher the Bitcoin price continues to climb, the more profitable it is for Bitcoin miners. Hence, the more competition and expansion as Bitcoin game theory continues in full effect. Now let's discuss massive Indonesia adoption occurring right now in real time. Check this out. This is breaking news. On June 9, 2023, Indonesia's regulatory agency made a public comprehensive catalog of 501 crypto assets that are now classified as commodities commodities within the country. So it's like the complete opposite of the United States SEC and what they're doing here in the US. This classification encompasses well-known coins like Litecoin, Uni, Solana, Bitcoin, Cardano, Ethereum, XRP, Sand, Polkadot, ZTZ, Stellar Lumens, BUSD, and XRP, amongst others. These assessments were made following the announcement by the Indonesian government regarding the establishment of a crypto exchange in September of last year. The subsequent month witnessed discussions around the new financial legislation aimed at strengthening crypto regulations. And furthermore, following the downfall of FTX, they issued directives to crypto exchanges instructing them to halt trading of FTX's native token, FTT, the scheme coin. The regulatory approach of Indonesian authorities diverges significantly from that of their counterparts in the US, where there are more than 36 crypto assets, including Telegram Gram token, token card, XRP, etc., which are being classified as unregistered securities according to the SEC. Moreover, Indonesia supports the de-dollarization efforts and the plans of the BRICS countries to strengthen the non-US fiat currencies. And in April, the governor of the Bank of Indonesia stated, Indonesia has initiated diversification of the use of currency in the form of LCT. The direction is the same as BRICS. In fact, Indonesia is more concrete. Indonesia's perspective on crypto assets resonates with the court rulings in China, where digital currencies and NFTs have been classified as property. And during an April court case involving the now defunct crypto exchange Gatecoin, a judge in Hong Kong, where massive adoption is also going on, FYI, ruled that crypto assets should be treated as property. With Indonesia taking the lead in classifying 501 crypto assets as commodities, it is likely that several other countries in the region will follow this laid out path. So there you have it. What do you guys think about that? 501 cryptos being deemed commodities in Indonesia. Imagine if that was the United States. Holy moly. And with that being shared, fam, now let's break down Peter Thiel, the co-founder of PayPal, and his 100x Bitcoin price prediction. And when he made this prediction was last year when the price was hovering just above 40,000. So he's ultimately saying he's expecting a $4 million Bitcoin price. He actually spoke at the Bitcoin Miami conference last year. I was there. How many of you were there? Let me know in the comments right down below. And after this story, we'll dive into the live Q&A, giving each and every one of you the opportunity to get your comments and opinions heard and read out loud. Let's get it. A massive shout out, by the way, to Peter Thiel. So yeah, this was the actual speech he gave at the Bitcoin Miami conference, all included in the show notes below the video in the description. Quoting him here, ESG is just a hate factory. It's a factory for naming enemies, and we should not be allowing them to do that. When you think ESG, you should be thinking Chinese Communist Party. We know all the ESG Bitcoin mining FUD, so I think it's pretty cool for him to address it. But now let's dive deep into his 100x Bitcoin price prediction, and what was arguably the centerpiece of his address. Thiel noted the Bitcoin was deliberately being undervalued as it is the most honest market in the world, thereby serving as the proverbial canary in the coal mine. Quoting him here, Bitcoin is the canary in the coal mine. It was telling us that inflation is coming. It is telling us that the central banks are bankrupt. It is telling us that we are at the end of the fiat money regime. Facts. Thiel then observed that Bitcoin's true competitor was not Ethereum, but global equities. He correctly noted that one of the primary factors behind the bull market of the past 40 years was the historically low inflation in the post-Volcker era. However, now that inflation has returned, Bitcoin should outperform the equities. We have repeatedly highlighted Bitcoin's soaring correlation with U.S. equities. In fact, currently around 48% of the moves in Bitcoin are accounted for by the corresponding moves with the benchmark S&P 500. And back in January of 2022, this correlation stood at roughly 60%. Nonetheless, if Thiel's predictions pan out, Bitcoin will likely exit this troubling correlation regime in the near future, setting the stage for outsized gains. In fact, Thiel believes that there should be a parity between the market cap of global equities and that of the king crypto. For reference, global equities currently have a market cap of around $115 trillion, and Bitcoin's market cap at this date is currently hovering at around $600 billion. Quoting Thiel, I am still hopeful that Bitcoin goes up by a factor of 100x. Should this prediction pan out, it would equate to an astounding situation where one Bitcoin will be worth over $4 million. So there you have it. Let me know if you agree or disagree with the billionaire co-founder of PayPal that the Bitcoin price is still likely to soar 100x from here, surpassing $4 million per coin. I feel it's inevitable. The $1 million question becomes, when. You feel me? And now let's dive into today's live Q&A. Massive shout out to each and every one of you today in the live chat. If you're new to the channel, just as a reminder, be sure to smash the subscribe button and hit the bell to turn on all notifications, and I greatly appreciate that. Massive shout out to everyone out here. We're going to start from the very top. Statwise Janks, Reg, good to see you. What exactly are your thoughts too? Going to shoot up? Yeah, I mean, I think the price is most likely to shoot up, especially considering all the institutional FOMO that I covered here in today's show. Coinfather, what's good, brother? Good to hear from you. Also, the biggest supply shock is incoming when all these ETFs start getting approved. That's right, it could be a domino effect. One gets approved, we all of a sudden could have 5 or 10 of them just like that. You know what I mean? That would absolutely be a game changer, especially getting approved before the Bitcoin halving. That's when the mass momentum of the 4-year cycle truly begins, and I'm pretty ecstatic for that. Ellie, it is good to see you. I appreciate you tuning in, supporting the channel. Much love and respect. Yeah, the baby needs to push 32,000 past and then hold on the weekly candle. Also a reminder, just the other day, we had the strongest, meaning highest, weekly close on Bitcoin for this year. In 2023, it was roughly 30,400. So I think this is a great sign. Put a 1 in the live chat and in the comment below the video if you feel Gary Gensler should be fired for his corruption within the SEC. If you prefer Gary and you want him to stay there, for another couple of years, put a 2. And I'd love to see how many of you support Gary and how many of you are against No Claire Gare, as we call him here on the channel. Yeah, good stuff. ETF should have been approved long ago, says Reg. 100% facts, but they haven't because they prefer to suppress the Bitcoin price action to the best of their abilities before, Wall Street takes over, giving their cronies an opportunity to stack sats on the low, is my 2 Satoshis. Yeah, Hong Kong FOMO as well. So much money is also stashed in China, ready to enter. Africa and Asia are leading the pack right now. That's what's up, Ellie. Sat-wise, I pray that the weather is okay, says Volkman from the mornings. Shout out to Pennsylvania. Shout out to the Western Hemisphere. Shout out to everyone here joining us from all over the world. Also, Latin America is very pro and friendly. That's right. I mean, Central America is El Salvador, land of Bitcoin country. We have South America. We have big Latin American countries with populations that are massive. Could you imagine Bitcoin being adopted as a legal tender on a huge country? Because it all starts small. El Salvador is pretty small, but imagine a major nation adopting Bitcoin as the legal tender. I think that would be a game changer. And I feel it's destined to come, but only a matter of when. Coinfather says, well, a lot of the institutions in the USA now want Bitcoin in their investments, so the wait is almost over. That's right, by popular demand. Just like Larry Fink, the CEO of BlackRock, called out. He said there is massive demand for Bitcoin. That's why we're introducing Bitcoin-related products. He talked about his website, this link getting a few clicks, this link getting a few clicks, and Bitcoin getting over 600,000 clicks, which doesn't surprise me. Give the people what they want. If you can't beat them, join them is their motto. You know what I mean? Yeah, smash up the likes and spread the love. I greatly appreciate that, Ellie. Good to see you, Chill. I appreciate you tuning in to the live chat. Coinfather says, I feel we definitely 4x, 7x up on Bitcoin price shortly after all these ETFs get approved. If they buy up the rest of the supply, there will be a supply shock. That's right, incoming supply shock. Due to the scarcity, there can only ever be 21 million Bitcoin around the world. We all know that Satoshi's wallet holds roughly 1 million. There's millions which are lost and gone forever, making Bitcoin even that much more scarce with its finite limited supply. And that's what makes Bitcoin so valuable. It's incorruptible, as I mentioned at the beginning of the show. And because it's incorruptible, it's perfect money, because all other forms of money are corruptible. That, my friend, is a fact. You know what I mean? Baz Dragon was good. Appreciate you tuning in live and support clip of Nassim Taleb on Bitcoin. I think he needs a hardware update. And as I mentioned, he is a paid shiller, Bitcoin hater. Max orange pilled him a very long time ago, and he continues with his Bitcoin FUD like clockwork. LFC Liverpool Film Club in the building. Shout out to Tony Jeffries representing Liverpool over there in the UK. I appreciate the support. Is that the guy that is saying that Bitcoin is a cult, etc.? Yep, that's the guy. Liverpool, it's a blessing to be here. Thanks for all you're doing. You're very welcome. Appreciate the support, fam, as always. Ellie says, will be nice if Bitcoin 30Xs will be a very cute. You can say that again. I love to see Bitcoin 30X. I mean, we are already at 30,000. We almost halfway to the all-time high we set back in November of 2021. And just being very what's the word, conservative. If Bitcoin only 2x from the previous all-time high, we're realistically looking at $138,000 Bitcoin price this halving, but I think we'll blow past that here personally. But what are your thoughts? Please do let me know. Yeah, it sure is the only real solution. The whole ethics behind it can transport humanity to a whole different level. Agree, Ellie. We either adopt to a new paradigm or become extinct 100%. Michael says here in Arizona, it is just going to be noon. That's what's up. Appreciate you tuning in from Arizona, fam. I'm on board, my friend. I really enjoy the feel of the show too. Appreciate that, Baz. Much love and much respect. Good to see you, Bitcoin Maximus. James Obleton, welcome with BlackRock ETF coming with the 4-year cycle change. You already know. Thank you for the lovely rose, says Ellie. Savvy Bitcoiner, welcome. Bitcoin, your key to unconfiscatable generational wealth. You already know, fam. That's what's up. Sack Gary, sack the geezer. That's what's up. So I want to see those ones in the comment section if you'd like to see Gensler fired from the SEC. But in my opinion, the unfortunate truth, he would just be replaced with another suit, just like what was his name? Jay Clayton got replaced with Gary Gensler. And then Jay Clayton's final day at the SEC is when they launched the lawsuit against XRP. Then Gary took over. So probably something similar will happen once again, like deja vu. Just saying. Dennis, what's poppin', fam? Appreciate your support. Let's go rocket to the moon. Bring it. Come on, Bitcoin. Break that 31.6. We're already at roughly 30,700. Let's break 32 and head on up to 40,000, setting a new yearly high. Personally, I'd love to see that. Massive shout out to Max and Stacy, my favorite Bitcoin power duo. Shout out to Maximus for shouting them out as well. I believe that Bitcoin is Bitcoin is God hacking humanity. I truly believe that. As I understand, it is the difficult factor which will change to keep the blocks happening, a 10-minute interval. Not sure if that will change the cycle or not. We will continue TikTok next clock every 10 minutes. One says Satwise, one Savvy Bitcoiner, one says Bart, Piao, Sup JV, Sup Piao was good. Ro70 says one, Piao says one, James says one. That's what's up. How much does your system cost to make? $800 per day. FYI, it is not my system. It's our sponsor, so I encourage you to watch the presentation. It's free to check out and learn. It may be for you, it may not be for you, but at least check it out and give it a chance and show our sponsor some support. I greatly appreciate that. AZ says one, Coinfather says one, Liverpool Tony Jeffrey says one. That's what's up. Looks like it's pretty anonymous. Everyone would like to see Gary Gensler take a hike, pumped and ready for launch. That's what's up. I will sit back and watch. Too much pain today. Please keep Coinfather in our prayers, fam. He's going through some physical pains right now. 4 million means nothing. When is the real question? Great question, Steve Hubbs. Let's discuss it. When do you feel the Bitcoin price is likely to reach that $4 million mark? I would say more than likely after 2030, unless there is massive hyperinflation and the collapse of the dollar sooner than anticipated, because realistically, Bitcoin could hit any price if the dollar hyperinflates and it costs, $10,000 for a loaf of bread. So we have to keep that in mind as well. I think eventually we won't even be comparing Bitcoin to fiat. It's going to be compared to gold, with gold value being more stable. Also, it's crazy how the gold price has been suppressed for the past decade. Meanwhile, Bitcoin's up something like 20 million%. So if you had to choose gold as a store of value or Bitcoin, what's your choice? Obviously, the king for me, BTC. Van Eck was the first to apply for the Bitcoin ETF spot in 2017. Another massive asset manager, Van Eck. Appreciate you pointing that out. Let's see who gets the first spot. More than likely, I think it'll be BlackRock. I think they'll let them cut the line of Cathie Wood, but you never know. We'll see. GBTC should be the first in line. They have got 650,000 BTC awaiting upon approval. You make a great point. I truly do hope the SEC does the right thing for the investors, which they don't have a good track record of doing. But if they convert the GBTC into the first Bitcoin spot ETF, that will be a game changer considering how much Bitcoin they currently hold. Ellie says if the SEC doesn't approve, they might move to Hong Kong. LOL. You never know. Steve says GBTC is up 7% today. Bitcoin is up 1%. Good to note. Tony says, JV, what is the difference between a spot Bitcoin ETF and a futures ETF? Any site posts you might be able to suggest? Thanks. Great question. Obviously, spot Bitcoin ETF just means trading Bitcoin at the regular going rates on the exchanges. Futures is trading with leverage, making it more risky for the investors. So doesn't the SEC supposed to be protecting the investors? Meanwhile, we have no spot Bitcoin ETF, but they allow a futures Bitcoin ETF. Just goes to show you what their main priorities are, if you know what I mean. Ryan, welcome fam. Good to see you. Steve Hub, spot cash settled. All funds back to real Bitcoin, 1-for-1. Futures, no such backing. Exactly, Steve. Thanks for clarifying. BlackRock before the halving predicts Bitcoin Maximus. I hope you're right. How is that possible? Mohit, tell us more specifically your question. Yeah, Binance US just delisted 12 cryptocurrencies. That is on my watch list. Curious, are those the 12 cryptos that the SEC are deeming unregistered securities or different cryptos? Please do let us know. Steve says spot ETFs hold the actual underlying asset, in this case, Bitcoin itself. On the other hand, futures ETFs hold Bitcoin futures contracts. There ain't nothing like the real thing, baby. Reality check. The Ukraine war is actually BlackRock versus Russia. So now what do you think they will do to Bitcoin? Great insights, F1. I appreciate you chiming in here. The net asset value of a spot ETF is determined by the actual price movements of Bitcoin in the market. In contrast, futures ETFs track the price of Bitcoin futures contracts. Thanks for the clarification, Steve. They're going to hype it and get all the small fry retails to FOMO. Then they crash it and kaput. Crypto is dead the next day. Baz says, does all this new mining power bring forward the dates of the future halvings, or does it not work? That I don't think it does, fam. I think the halving is estimated to be sometime between April and May of next year, and I don't think them mining more Bitcoin and introducing more miners to the network is going to speed up that process. However, you know, it is an estimated time, so who knows? It could be a little sooner than we expect, or it could be a little later. It is an estimated time. Yeah, our bags can grow in different countries. No need to only rely on what the US SEC says. Facts, Ellie. Appreciate that. Dennis says, this is great news. One love. Appreciate that. Finally caught a live from Byron Bay, Australia. What's up, Will? Appreciate you tuning in live. I'm glad you got a lot of insights and value out of today's show. PUBO, we will put your statement in as another Bitcoin obituary. Thanks. Time to buy. Another slap to Gary. That's what's up. Crypto exchange FTX has recouped approximately $7 billion liquidity assets, according to their CEO, John Ray. Where did it mysteriously come from? That is crazy. I truly hope investors get paid back this $7 billion and it doesn't just like go to the regulators or something like that, because we've seen crazy things happen in this space before, if you know what I mean. Welcome, DS Flat. Ellie says it's a good start. Welcome, Maximus. Oleg says all you need is love and BTC. That's right. Love and BTC continue to make the world go round. That's what's up. And right now there's 326 live people concurrent here with us in the live chat. That is what's up. I think this is a new recent record, at least here for 2023. Now let's get 500 people on live at the same time as the next goal. So everyone stack those sats. It's our real freedom. You already know Ellie. Halving is estimated 14th to 16th of April 2024. And again, the SEC is going to have to either approve or disapprove the spot Bitcoin ETF by BlackRock before then. So I'm predicting fireworks, but we shall soon see. Jeff says, ideally, we need a strong dollar and a strong BTC. Well, according to Michael Saylor, the dollar will remain strong along with Bitcoin. And according to Max Kaiser, the dollar is going to basically be destroyed by Bitcoin. But what are your thoughts? Which philosophy do you subscribe to? The SHA, Secure Hash Algorithm 256, was not patented. It was developed by the National Security Agency, the NSA of the United States, as a part of the Secure Hash Standard in 2001. If that is true, Steve, someone brought this up to Max in a tweet, and Max responded, regardless of the origination of where Bitcoin came from, nobody can stop it. I truly believe that as well. So even if they were in on the creation of it, they still can't stop it. And it is still a central bank killer at the end of the day, because it's perfect money. Love from Amsterdam. Happy 420 fam. I haven't been to Amsterdam in a few years. It's one of my favorite cities on the planet. I can't wait to revisit. That's coming from Man versus Machine. Much love and much respect. The time doesn't speed up. It's 10 minutes every block exactly, Inspector 8. Thanks for the clarification, fam. Satoshi did indeed use SHA 256 in the Bitcoin algorithm. Inspector says more miners just makes the network security stronger, not faster. Exactly, with Bitcoin being the strongest network in the entire world. Yeah. Lennons are Liverpool. Shout out to the Lennons out there. The Beatles was good. We still need a dollar until we can buy everything with BTC. Absolutely, JV, says Steve. Nobody, right? Satoshi made it. by himself alone, says Mindful Quotes. Love from Portugal. Massive shout out to Portugal. We got Canalco joining us here. Ellie, if the debt keeps growing against the GDP and also the dollar keeps getting dumped by other countries, and yeah, it could happen. Anything can happen. I like to say expect the unexpected and be prepared for all scenarios. You know what I mean? Be smart about it. Be smart about it. Hi, everyone. Pepe and my lady time. It's only the beginning, guys. Welcome to Moo. It is good to see you. John and Yoko, Sean's parents, got married in Amsterdam. Good to note. I did not know that. Tony, appreciate the insights. We just won $100,000. BlackRock will push this 100%. The question, when? No Claire Gare. When are we going to get this spot Bitcoin ETF finally approved in the United States? It is time, if you know what I mean. Amsterdam is a weed heaven. It sure is. Hence one of the many reasons I miss that place, if you feel me. And with that being shared, fam, now for a recap of what I covered with you here in today's show. I broke down the latest technical analysis as the Bitcoin bulls grill 31,000 as Fidelity ETF fuels the Bitcoin price strength. As I shared breaking news, $4.5 trillion asset manager Fidelity is preparing to file for a spot Bitcoin ETF according to the block. And according to Bloomberg, Grayscale has a 70% chance of beating the SEC in court to get their Bitcoin ETF finally approved. We also discussed Cathie Wood of ARK reportedly says she's first in line for a spot Bitcoin ETF. We also discussed massive 27 trillion in assets are set to embrace crypto as the institutional FOMO continues. I also shared with you Max Kaiser's prediction that Bitcoin can hit $220,000 next month in July. Send it. Let's freaking go. We also discussed Riot Platform adding 33,000 Bitcoin miners ahead of the 2024 halving, as well as massive crypto adoption in Indonesia, labeling 501 cryptocurrencies as commodities. And I also shared with you Peter Thiel's $4 million Bitcoin price prediction, ultimately predicting the Bitcoin price will 100x from here. But where do you feel the Bitcoin price is likely to go next? Let me know in the comments right down below, and I'll see you all tomorrow.